Okay, we're continuing our discussion on some of the questions that I had on a quest that are essential, all right, kind of the basic essential problems that you should know, all right, about conic sections and how to find the centers, foci, and vertices, and whatnot. In this conic, we have an ellipse, okay? Now, an ellipse, this is the first one I'll just explain, comes from, all right, a cone, and when you take the plane, you're going to cut it, all right, sideways, not going through the base, but you have this going on the outside right there, all right, and what you then create is a, all right, ellipse, okay, an ellipse, you know, it hits right there, and you cut it in half, and it goes in the side, all right, looks like an oval, but it's an ellipse, okay, a perfect flat circle, all right. Now, in order to find an ellipse comes in two different things. So in this problem, we have some various things that have an ellipse. We have a center, and we want to find the foci. Okay, there are two foci when we're talking about an ellipse. Now, to get this, we are given an implicit form of this conic, and what we want to do is we want to solve this. Okay, we want to put it into standard form. So the first thing, in order to find the center and foci, we want to put it into standard form. Okay. Now, if you wonder what standard form of ellipse is, it either is going to be x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. This is a horizontal ellipse because the a value is underneath the x. We can also have x minus h squared over b squared plus y minus k squared over a squared equals 1. This is what we call a vertical ellipse. Okay, vertical ellipse. And how do you determine the a values? Whatever one is larger on the bottom. And that is where we know it's going to go up or down or left or right. Okay, horizontal, left or right, vertical, up or down. So to get that in this form, we realize we have this. So what we need to do is we need to complete the square. Now this is usually what sometimes gets students really confused. So I'll try to go through this quickly, all right, and efficiently. So when you have this, you're going to have 9x squared plus 4y squared minus 36x minus 24y minus 36 equals 0. Now to get this, the first thing we want to do is, since we have both squares on the same side, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to get all the x squared, all the x's together, and everything else, and all the y's together. So we're going to group them together. So we have 9x squared. We have the minus 36x. We're going to have the plus 4y squared, and then we're going to have the plus 24y. Oops, that's minus 24y. Careful, make sure you copy this down else you get the wrong answer. Minus 24y. Okay, and then we have this little 36. Now, the constant doesn't help us complete any squares, so we're going to banish it to the other side. We're going to add 36 to both sides, and we just have 36 just hanging out. Now, to complete the square, what we need to do is find the c value. Now, in order to do this properly, we have to factor out, because we only have to have a coefficient of 1 next to each one of these square terms. So, to find this out, what we're going to do is we're going to factor out of the x a 9. And when I do that, I have x squared minus, I have to factor out 9 out of here. So I have 4x. I'll just put parentheses there. Now here we're going to factor out a 4. So I'll have a 4. And then we'll have y squared, take out a 4 out of 24. And what we'll have is 6y. And then right there is going to equal 36. I'm actually going to erase this. I probably will need it, but I think as long as you have it down in your notes, or you can rewind this video, you can see what those forms are. Anyway, so continuing on, all right, it is now we're going to complete our square. So we're going to find our c values. Once again, the c value, we're going to take our b value, divide it by 2, and square it. Okay, so we're going to take 4, divided by 2 is 2, squared is 4. Now, whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other, and make sure you do this properly. When you have this, we are taking 4, but actually we have this 9 sitting here. So we have to take 9 times 4. 9 times 4. So over here, we're going to add 36 because that comes from 9 times 4, which was our c value from our first one. Okay, 9 times 4. Now we're going to do that same thing over here. Using the same property, find our other c value. So take 6 divided by 2, which is 3, squared is 9. Well, once again, we're going to get another 36 because we have to take 9 times 4. So this one came from 4 times 9. 9 was the c value for that one. And that's where we get our different answers. All right. Now, in doing this, we're going to have 9. All right, and we can complete the square x minus 2 squared. Make sure you do that properly. I see a lot of students that do not factor this properly. All right, minus 3 squared. And now we're going to add these values together. And to make this easier, actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have actually 3 times 36. All right, because we're eventually going to get a standard form. Oops, don't forget your 4. Okay. We're going to simplify this now. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide, because we need a 1 in our standard form. This always has to equal 1. Okay, equal 1. So we're going to divide through everything by 3 over 36. So when I do that, I'm going to use a different color. Divide by 3 over 36. Divide by 3 over 36. Divide by 3 over 36. So this side becomes 1. We notice over here, this 9, I can cancel out with the 36 and make that 4. So now we have x minus 2 squared over 12, because 4 times 3 is 12. I come over here and I can realize 4 of 36, that's going to turn into 9. So now I have 9 times 3, which is 27. Now I have y minus 3 squared right there, equals 1. All right, that is our standard form. Now, from here, using our standard form, if I go all the way back, our goal was we wanted to find the center and foci. That's why we put it in the standard form, so we could easily find our center and foci. Now, the center, you can look at this, because h and k would be our center. And so we have our center is going to be located at 2, 3. Now, from here, to find the foci, you have to realize that there's a bunch of different things in this ellipse. Now, I'm just going to kind of explain this, so this is going to maybe take a little while, but you have to really understand how we're going to find our foci, because our foci is a c value. Now, what are the other values? Well, ellipse has a center, so it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, which is going to be right here. Now, from here, this ellipse you have to figure out, is it going horizontal or vertical? All right? Are our major axis horizontal or vertical? Now, our major axis, we identify the a value. Now, the a value is the largest value of the entire thing. Now, since 27 is greater than 12, 27 is going to be a squared, because a squared always has to be greater than b squared. So a squared is going to be there, and this has to then be b squared by process of elimination. Because a squared is underneath y, we are going to have a vertical ellipse. And that's the only reason why. All right, because 27 is bigger than 12, I know it's going a little vertical because it's under y. Now, we have that because now we can find our vertices if we wanted to. All right, if we wanted to. The vertices come from, all right, taking our a, okay, come from looking at our a value. Our a value, well, is going to equal the square root of 27. Square root of 27. So what would I do? Well, I would take this point right here from the center, and I would have to go up square root of 27 up and square root of 27 down. Well, essentially what we're doing is if we have to go up or down, we're going to take that to our y value. So we would just take 2, and we take 3 plus and minus the square root of 27. All right, that's how we get our a value. Now, we also can go on the sides, and that's where we find our v value. That's what we call our minor axis points. All right, and when we have this, that's going to be our b values. All right, our b values we're going to take the square root of 12. We're going to have the square root of 12 because that's b squared is equal to 12. So in this case, this is going horizontally because that's our minor axis is horizontal. So we're going to take 2 and we're going to add and subtract the square root of 12, and then we have 3. Well, that's our vertices and minor axis, but we are looking for our foci. Well, our foci are actually, I'm going to put this in blue, all right, come from a c value, Now, the c value is on the minor axis as well, and it's somewhere right here. We have 2 of them, all right, which are c units away. Well, where do you find the c in the equation? You don't. And this is where students have to remember you have to use a separate equation. We know that how all these are made, all right, come from this equation, c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So what we're going to do here, in order to find c squared, we're going to take our a, which is 27, minus our b, which is 12, and set that equal to c squared. What you get here, we're going to have 15 is going to equal c squared, and c has to equal the square root of 15. Well, since our c, our foci, are on the minor axis, sorry, not minor axis, major axis, we're going to take, and we have to add the C value to, hopefully you're guessing, the Y of our center point. Okay, so the Y of our center point. So 2, our foci are going to be located 2, and then take 3, and we're going to add and subtract the square root of 15. So we can go square root of 15 units up, and square root of 15 units down, and that's where we find our foci. So here's our foci. We had to use this equation to help us figure that out, because that's the C value. We need the C in order to find the foci. All right, so we need C for foci. All right, so the C value helps us find the foci, the B value helps us find the minor points, and the A value finds our major axis values. All right, and then from here we could obviously graph this, and this is what our oval would look like. Obviously I didn't write all the values on there, but that's essentially what we're doing. Okay, we answered the question, we found our center by completing the square and creating the standard form, and we found our foci by using A, B, and using that little equation down here to find C, so we could figure that out. All right. I know it's a long, tedious process. We started all the way up here and we got all the way down there, but hopefully you understand the basic concepts. Once again, find standard form, find the center. From the center, find if it's going up or down, so you can do a sketch graph, and you know whether or not what the major axis is, so you know where to add the A and where to add the C to find your vertices and foci. All right, and the minor would be the other sides. All right. Well, good luck and God bless on the rest of your problems.